Ah!
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Adrian Nyce. Welcome to Mouthin Out. Right now, I'm here with
DT, aka Crown Control Magazine.
Crown Control Magazine. Okay, let's go down. Just kind of break down what Crown Control Magazine before we dive in like who you are, or we can dive in who you are in a nutshell.
Go through the little background. So basically, I'm a survivor of human trafficking, and when I got out, I didn't understand the responsibility of freedom. I wrestled with suicide, depression, and so I lost my crown.
How old were you?
I was 18.
18. And when you say human trafficking, like we talking about people.
Yeah. I was sex trafficked, and I was labor trafficked, and I didn't get my freedom until I was 23.
That's crazy. Where were you?
Detroit, Michigan, and then I was trafficked across 31 states. That's how I wound up in Florida.
And so, can you kind of break down like how they got you? They just like pulled up in a van, like kidnapper status, or like.
So it's crazy because I started off um, leaving the shelter from the halfway house to the shelter, leaving jail and all of that, just needing a place to stay. And I was about to get put out the shelter for basically soliciting CDs because they just wanted you to have a real job. So when I left that, basically they were like, well, we got a program. Didn't know that it would be involved in human trafficking. So I wound up volunteering until I got held at gunpoint. So I was forced and held against my will the second day.
That's crazy. Did you ever? I guess the people you were talking to, while you're talking, did they give you any kind of weird vibes or anything? Any signals looking back at it? Like,
No, see, I was so blind, and I was at my lowest moment. I lost over 200,000. My house got raided. I'm living in a shelter. So anything about leaving the state, seeing something new. I ain't never been out of Detroit, Michigan. So to hear that, oh, we get paid this and the third, I'm so amped up. And this is my first day, and they like, oh, you can make this much money. You get to travel and see, the whole country. So I'm thinking, all right, cool. Well, the next day, they like, you ain't make no money, and you owe us. I owe you for what? You
yo,
owe us for the van. They said you owe us for the van. You owe us for the credentials that you use to sign people up. You owe us for the gas for the van. Then you owe us for the hotel stay, and you owe us for the food. So they tried to use bonds. So how I'm gonna pay that? They said, oh no, you got to do this thing here. So
crazy.
of course me ready to fight back. I got held at gunpoint.
Sure will. Now at this point, you said 18. What'd you say? 18.
Yeah. It was my late 18s and then 19. Yeah.
So now, uh, were you still staying with your parents or anything like that, or like were you were on your own? You were
I
on your
was
own.
living in abandoned buildings.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I was selling dope, all of that. You name it. I was in the streets heavy.
So how did you get out of this?
Basically, knocked on a family door that worked with United Abolitionists. Now, United Abolitionists, they work with the FBI. They're an organization that's geared towards fighting against human trafficking. They're the first organization to establish a relationship with the FBI to get people out physically. And so it's their organization through that phone call that actually pulled me out that day on International Drive behind the McDonald's. It was February 6, 2011.
So like,
Super Bowl Sunday.
so like the feds came and just shut it down.
Yeah, shut it down.
What a crazy story, man. Um, can you? I'm asking you to give like a couple of pieces of advice. First, can you give one piece of advice to someone? They might see this, just someone going through that right now, might be feeling hopeless, whatever.
Yeah. Um, don't be afraid to reach out, even when it seems hard. And if you don't know a sign, there's a sign that they've been teaching universal to let other people know that if you are being trafficked and you see somebody that could possibly help you, the sign goes like this. You put your thumb in, you fold your hands down, your fingers down, and that's a sign to let other people know that it's entrapment. So that's one of the signs. And then just being alert and being aware. Yeah. Not it's being taught in schools and all that. It's a new thing that's really just that they getting out there because there has to be some type of solution. And so
And then, so okay, so next, give one piece of advice to someone that is just now coming from that situation, trying to bounce back, because I'm sure that can do a lot to your mental state and everything too. So just kind of get one piece of advice to try to get back to reality.
It's okay to get your mental health right. If you need to see a therapist, if you need to see a psychiatrist, if you need real therapy, it's okay. You don't have to be ashamed, especially as men, because men get told between the ages of 3 and up, don't cry. They hold it in. Now we have a problem with suicide in the black male community. Suicide is higher than the women and teenagers now and black men. So it is okay. When I got out of human trafficking, I wrestled with identity. I was a cutter, cut it myself. I was going through it. I had real life issues. But then when I went to go get help, I went to go seek therapy. Things started to change. After that, I hit the ground running.
And we got crown control. So let's talk about crown control. What is it? How did it come about?
All right, so crown control came about is basically getting my freedom back, wearing my crown, taking my crown, taking and having control of my crown, so I can never drop it again. It's a magazine company, but it's an activist magazine company. So we fight against human trafficking. We educate. We do public speaking through the magazine. We got our clothes with QR codes on them. You can scan them and they'll link you up to other people who beat depression or suicide, anxiety. This is one of the first activist clothing lines / magazines that's out here that's dealing with human rights as well. So it's, if you got a story and you want to get, plugged in, or even if you got a business, you know, reach out to us at crowncontrol.mind@gmail.com. Submit your information, and we'll get you in there and make sure that the world hears your story or knows about your business.
And then let's kind of just get a glimpse of the back real quick.
Yeah. So this is the back Crown Control magazine, and it says male victims.
That's dope, man. And then, do you have a social media or anything that you can kind of share? People can tap in with you.
So the IG is Crown Control Magazine.
There you have it. I'm your host, Adrian Nyce. Appreciate you sitting down with me, sharing your story with me. Adrian Nyce, Mouthin Out, and we out. Peace.
Mouthin Out,